What's going on, Mississippi Canna family? What's going on with you? Your host Chris back, dropping some heat on you. Just dropped some heat earlier, just talking about the culture. You know what I'm saying? Dropped a video just talking about one of my better podcasts I like to watch. Shout out First Smoke of the Day. You know what I'm saying? Holding it down. I definitely will put you guys on some more other cultures channels that I check out. So make sure you go back to my previous videos, man. Make sure you tell a friend and tell a friend in Mississippi. Even if you ain't in Mississippi and you stumble across this and you send this shit to somebody like, yo, check out this dude in Mississippi. Like send them my way, man. We're getting active out here. So I want to bring something special to you guys today, like some insight for myself, just being a longtime cannabis advocate and having traveled and just having a lot of friends and family I can get a lot of good information from and bring it to you guys. I just want to touch on a little hot subject today that I think is going to help y'all. It's like I said, as we build this cannabis culture in Mississippi. So, throughout the whole high time situation that happened a few days ago, I was just looking at some different numbers and some information, man. So I want to say, before I jump off into all that, man, shout out to my subscriber Terry P, man. And I definitely fucks with Kid Cudi, bro. I gotta figure out. At this point, I don't know. Can I have real music like that in my thing without like that be my whole thing situation with that? So I know for sure. Somebody put me up on game on that in the comments, man. Can I have music that's like an artist music, or does it have to be, or do I have to get permission or whatever the case may be? Um, Somebody let me know. I guess I would think that I couldn't, but who knows? But yeah, shout out to your P, and that's what I'm talking about, man. Just Mississippi communities, a connoisseurs chopping game with each other, pinning each other on game, man. I appreciate that. So everybody go check out my past videos, all that good stuff. Tell a friend. But I want to jump straight into what I'm talking about today. Really, man, looking at the numbers, we're gonna break down the numbers today because here you're gonna be to come able to get information that's gonna not only just help you be a advocate or somebody that champions for less regulatory type of things and more legality and freedom type of things. You can also be a person that's involved in the economic side of things, man. We all know what this plant can do for people independently, economically. That's one of the reasons why I feel like personally it was kind of prohibited the way it has been for the past, 80, 70 years or whatever the case may be. So, excuse me. Oh, um, I know one thing that I do want to bring you guys information on how to maybe monetize some of this stuff. So, like I said in the previous video, we building up this culture, man. We helping each other out. We trapping the legal way now down here in Mississippi. That's what's really going on. So today we talking about the numbers. So when I was looking at the numbers, man, I started thinking to myself like, all right, all these numbers I'm about to tell you guys were attached to the high time video. So I feel like those who kind of know what's going on and kind of can see the bigger picture or whatnot would kind of see where I'm going with some of this information, man. So check this out. We about to dive deep, man. It's gonna be a good one. Send this link to somebody right now that you feel like, yo, you was thinking about doing this, just thinking about doing that. Check this guy out, because even if I don't, what I'm saying, give you a straight answer or give you a eureka moment, at least it's spinning in your head and you kind of know where you can go with this. So, all right. So, right now in the state of Mississippi, there are 47 licensed cultivators. Now, as we go further in the video, we're gonna get to we're gonna go through every sector, working our way through processes, dispose, all that, kind of breaking all that down, and kind of towards the end of the video, we're gonna get into that number of, the real question is how many customers are out here already. So you got 47 licensed cultivators. I mean, when you really look at it as a state with so many counties like Mississippi, and then you consider the ones who opted out, things of that nature, um, you're kind of on the fence about, is it too much, too many cultivators, not enough? Because once you got 47 cultivators, let's say a quarter of those aren't good at what they do, or whatever the case may be, or don't make it, don't really get to their runs to the point where they're getting solid product to the shelf, and they don't really get everything dialed in. Um, you may not be left with that many cultivators, period, in the state. So we all know what that means. That means the diversity and different flavors and different medicines you're going to get in different cultivars and plants that are going to bring all types of different medicinal qualities to the market are not going to be, it's going to be harder to come across that type of marketplace. You're going to, I feel like that creates a marketplace where you end up with one giant, kind of like what Mockingbird was trying to do. This one giant coming in who knows they have deep enough pockets to take some few losses and jack off a few runs before they finally get it right. But I don't really see them running strains that are trying new things out, or strains that are trying for new cannabinoids, or strains that are different flavors, unique terpene profiles. I see them with all the fruits, the cakes, the cherries, the limes, all that stuff that smokes gas. I mean, if you go out to California, you go out to Colorado, and you connect with the right people, all those varieties I just named you, I mean, they'll be gassing. Don't get me wrong. I'm not hating on that. I'm just saying that you get less chance of diversity when the numbers, I think when the numbers start getting small like that, because people really, I don't know. You guys tell me. And like I said, with all this is for you guys to chime in, jump in, keep it 100. You know what I'm saying? Just give your thoughts on it. So, like I said, when we think about monetizing this, you got to think about it. All right, you know, do I want this? And here's the crazy thing about this, right? Check this out. So, say you like, all right, I want to be a cultivator, I want to be a breeder. Well, just looking at some of the regulations and things like that, like the way they have it set up right now is that, if you're a cultivator and you're not bringing a certain amount of product to market, they can suspend your license, or I think they can even pull your license back for a certain period of time. So I say that to say it's not a situation where right now you can say, all right, I'm gonna get my license and I'm just gonna practice. I'm gonna cultivate. I'm gonna germinate all types of seeds. I'm gonna grow. I'm gonna practice. I'm gonna work on this technique, my techniques, and then when I get right, and this initial wave of cultivators who don't, who might not make it, or might not get things dialed in quick enough, and whose pockets aren't deep enough to sustain them while they're getting things dialed in, I'm gonna step in and fill that need that they leave. And really, it doesn't. The way they have it set up, you can't legally, you wouldn't be able to do that. As soon as you get that license, you have to be out there producing. So that's something to think about, man. If getting in the game right now, I feel like if you know what you're doing, you got some superior genetics, 'cause that's what it's going to come down to. And you're already thinking about, even though we're approaching winter, you're already thinking about how you're going to dial in your areas with this Mississippi late July and all of August action. I think you can potentially do something out here. But if you don't have those things dialed in and have an idea how you're going to do those things, I feel like, you know, kind of check it out, kind of see how this thing first goes. But like I posted in the video yesterday, they only have so many facilities online for testing a general, but those are not even online. You see what I'm saying? So they only have a limited number of facilities that are going to be in existence anyway, and even those aren't online. That's what I'm saying. So you have to think, you know, who knows when you're going to be able to go fully through a crop, fully have, because who wants to be, I don't know right now, like we spoke about yesterday with Mockingbird, I don't know if it's a situation where, all right, Mississippi said I can get some preliminary stuff going. So I got these flowers, plants, and it took them so long. I just took them to flower, and now I got flower that I've dried and cured, and I was just sitting somewhere ready to pay $1,000 to have somebody test it. Um, what does that scenario look like? I'm not sure. So one thing we want to make sure we do as we're thinking about this, man, just kind of take all those things into consideration if you're thinking about jumping into the licensed cultivator space, man. So next though, my oil people, my extraction wizards, you know what I'm saying? My cannabis edible makers, infusion folks, all those things on the processing end, I feel like to me right now might be a space of opportunity. Right now in the state, you got 8 processors, licensed processors, and we all know, just breaking down the demographics just from the previous subject, with the cultivators, that's not a lot at all. I mean, I feel like if, once again, like how I just ended the first one, I feel like if you already have a space, you can get in and have a superior product, you already know you can probably out edge your competition. By all means, I think that's a space you can jump into. But like we just said previously, if you're gonna jump in and have to learn it as you go, totally learn it as you go and figure out what's really your niche, what's your space. With 8 processors only in the States, you got a little bit more flexibility there. You know what I'm saying? So that's something to look at there. And I think I got a couple videos ago. I did um, a topic on, what do we think a price of a pound is going to go for? And within there, we would kind of talk about, trying to figure out what we think a price of an eighth might be. And I bring that up to say that if those prices, I feel like with Mississippi's economic state, I feel like if those prices are really in the upwards, we're going to end up in a scenario where people might look for edibles more so, a bag of gummies or something they can, especially folks who are really having trying this for as a last result medicinally. They've done a lot of the pharmaceuticals, and this is going to be a last. I think they may be more likely to try edibles and things like that, particularly if the flower is really expensive. So that's one thing to kind of think about with the processing. Dispos. Now, like I said, and here in a couple more, we're going to get to how many patients they are here in the state. That's going to be the hot number. But there are 138 dispos right now in the states. Um, I mean, in the state of Mississippi. So once we get to that patient number, you're gonna have to kind of see how that might be a little problematic. Like, I know one thing is that, like we keep on saying, the magic thing we don't know is the price. We don't know what the price is gonna be. So considering that fact, with that amount of dispos, sitting at 138 dispos spread across the state, I think it's gonna be just like how you see a lot of the CBD shops and hemp shops, man. It's gonna be a lot of places that not getting a lot of action because, like I said, once we get to that number of patients, it's gonna be interesting. You're gonna see why I come back around to that. Um, are they all gonna clump up in one area of the state? I looked at the registry, and it looked like the areas, of course, naturally with more tourism and more population had the more dispensaries. But are they going to do it like, in Oklahoma or a, situation like that where it's just dispo, 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 you know what I'm saying, all in one area? I think that might be problematic because, you know, they need to be spread more so throughout the state in different areas. But like I get it, you know, the more you spread them out in different areas and things like that, the more I feel like you open it up for somebody to come and chain it through, and the big boys really take over and create, one mega place, and they just have these spread throughout the state. So, you know, we'll see how that side goes. Like I said, right now, you can't really get too deep into the dispos because nobody knows the prices of anything right now. You practitioners, doctors. So there are 117 practitioners in the state so far, and that seems to be a pretty strong number in relation to the amount of patients. I think it does raise some questions though, because I think some people have been asking the difference between what's a recommendation and what's a certification. I did read in kind of Mississippi's regulations about the doctor. I believe you had to have a previous relationship with that doctor before you went for your recommendation. It's not like a lot of other states where you can go pay, whatever you pay, and boom, that doctor gives you a recommendation based on what you're saying, from what I understand. And I think they were saying that a lot of these pop-up spots you're seeing are more so doing what they call certifications, where I guess they technically certifying that the doctor has recommended that. And I don't know if they're the ones, the liaison that gets that information to the state or not. That's to be seen. I just spoke about that in my previous video as far as, what stage I'm in that process as far as figuring out those things from the medical card aspect. but 117 practitioners, pretty solid number. Now, work permits. Work permits. Let me make sure this number is correct. Yeah, 491 work permits in the state. I have one myself, and it didn't take too long to get that work permit going. Um, so with Mississippi with a population of 3 million and some change. Let me double check my numbers. Yeah, Mississippi with a population of not 2.9 million, and 400 people have, what I'm saying, that cannabis work permit. And I'm gonna break down some state to state numbers here in a second. It's gonna be really good information for you. Um, so guys, I think with that, I think there's a need for workers in the cannabis industry in the state. Right now, I guess with everything in such a slow motion, I think it's going to pop just the same way the need for workers after COVID started opening back up, and that pop, and if it's a rush to get people, I think the same thing is going to happen with the cannabis market here in Mississippi. I think what they're going to do is folks are kind of just moving stagnantly right now because, like I said, if you got any product coming out, it has to be tested. No facilities are up, so I don't know what that gray area is looking like. Um, so, but I think there's going to be a rush as soon as things get going. It's going to be a rush to have people working. So, I mean, how you have 138 dispos in the state and under 500 people, because you have to be badged up to work in dispos, dispos, cultivation facilities, processing facilities, to be in transportation, waste removal, and any of that. So the number of dispos, I mean, that's just dispos. So you got dispos at 100 and what do we say? 136. I mean, 138 dispos, 47 cultivation facilities. Well, you would think they need more than 500 people right there. If each dispo employs 3 folks, that's almost it right there. So you can see there's another area need. So right now we're looking at processors, and we're looking at folks just to be able to be retail, delivery, transportation, all those type of things right now. And everything we're talking about today is kind of more so flower related. There is that business side. Transportation is going to be a huge one. We're going to do another video on that, as far as the revenue generating side, without touching the being hands on with the flower. Transportation is really the angle folks are looking at. Um, so yeah, with the work permit situation, I think more folks getting on board there will kind of prepare for when it's really a huge need for workers in the state. Here's the magic one. So we're finally here. So all the above infrastructure we just talked about, from the practitioners to the dispos to the licensed cultivators, all those things, all that infrastructure and all those peoples are set up to right now to service 406 individuals. So let's take that into consideration. You got 47 cultivators, 136 dispensaries for 406 patients. I would say right now, I mean, imagine if you've got $1 million, a $500,000, you know what I'm saying, in Mississippi, in an operation in Mississippi, and you're looking at the numbers, and there's 406 individuals who are your customers for the whole state. You know what I'm saying? So you got to think each dispense, you got transportation. So even if you're a mega operation, you're thinking, well, we'll just get everything to all the dispensaries. Man, the transportation cost and the testing and all the things involved in that for 406 patients, I mean, they got to be spending. You know what I'm saying? 406 patients, man, they got to be spending. So let's put this. So there might be some folks out there saying, So I went to Marijuana Passion Project, or Marijuana Freedom Project. I'm sorry, website, just to get some official numbers. So dig this. Let's dive into what we're talking about right now. So in Oklahoma, and I tried to stay in states. I keep bringing up Oklahoma because, like I said, for folks who kind of know what's really going on in the industry, and how things are flowing right now, Oklahoma is like the perfect state to really look at, just as far as how things could go good and how things are kind of not bad, but things can kind of, need some more correcting. So in Mississippi has a population of 2.95 million, right? But when you look at the relative numbers of people who have their patient card is not good. It's not a good prospect. 406 people. In Oklahoma, 3.98 million is the population. 368,000 people have their card. Now you kind of see why Oklahoma became almost, you almost had 500,000 people in the state with a medical card. 500,000. Now you see that's a totally different ball game. Even though that's about a million off in population, um, look at those numbers. So let's get closer, more. Let's get more economically closer to what Mississippi is, right? To give you some more relativity. Arkansas, population of 3 million. Like I said, Mississippi's population of 2.95 million. Basically, right there. 76,000 patients. 76,000 patients in Arkansas. Maine, population of 1.5 million. Remember, Mississippi's population 2.95. Maine's population 1.5 million. Number of patients was card 65,000. Nevada. Now, when we think about economic wise, way better ranking as far as poverty rate for the state, education, all that for the state. So we definitely have to keep those things in mind when we're thinking about this. But Nevada, population of 3 million, 13,000 patients. Now Nevada started with a medical market before they went recreational, because of course right now, as of now they're recreational. But all these numbers are from the ending of 2021. Um, so Utah, population of 3 million, amount of cards 23,000. Then we look at Vermont, population of 620,000, but 5,200 card holders. So Mississippi has a long way to go. So if you're thinking about, major money and a major investment now, man, you have to really have a whole branding plan together. I'm sorry, to kind of make that make sense, because that's all for 406 patients. So keep that in mind, man. Like I said, here in Mississippi Cannon TV, we're gonna be talking about everything, bringing you real news, real information that you can take and kind of make thoughts about, pass on to a friend, do whatever you need to do with, man. Appreciate you guys. This was kind of more of a lengthier video. Let me know if you like this format more, was really going in depth, going with some length, or do you the shorter ones kind of hit better, guys? Give me some feedback and kind of let me know your thoughts on all the things just spoke about here in this video, man. Mississippi Cannon TV. I appreciate you guys, man. Stay tuned in.